it's Karen Burniston here with an assembly video for one of my die sets. This is die number 1023, the tag book pop-up, and you can check out all of my designs at karenburniston.com. This is going to be a great year-round generic pop-up die, really easy to assemble, absolutely no theme to it, so you'll be able to use it for any season, any theme. There are 17 pieces in this die set. I've actually had to use 2 magnet sheets to show them all for the video. And the secret to making this pop-up is to cut everything twice. So I've got 2 pieces of cardstock here to be the tag, and that's going to be my pages of my tag book. It's a nice big open die. You'll be able to cut through 2 layers at once. Then I'm also going to cut my little hinge die. So I only need one of those. That's what's going to hinge those 2 tags together. And just send that through my die cutting machine, and you can use any die cutting machine that can accommodate a wafer thin die. I am using a Sizzix Big Shot. You know, another great thing about this tag book die set is all of the individual pieces that can be used on their own, like that big tag. So that measures 3 inches by 6 inches, and you'll be able to use that for lots of uses other than just making the pop-up. The hinge die has 3 score lines in it. And what I find easiest to do is just to fold it on that center fold first and give it a pinch. So finding the center fold first. And then I just hold the piece between my thumbs and fingers and basically just roll it. And when I roll it in one direction, I'll find the first fold, and then I turn it around and roll it in the other direction, and I'll find the other fold. So basically 3 folds, and it's the outer 2 that are going to be used to line up with the edges of the tags. Definitely choose a strong adhesive for this hinge. This card's going to be opened and closed a whole bunch of times. People are going to be admiring it. What you want to do is you want to line up that outer fold with the edge of the tag and then just center the hinge. And I'm going to attach my hinge on the inside of the tag book, but it could just as easily be attached to the outside of the tag book, or you can sandwich that hinge in between 2 tags and then you don't see it at all. But the main thing you want to do, whichever way you choose to do it, is you want to make sure that your tags line up with each other in the closed position. So good idea to close up your hinge and line everything up as you stick it on there, and that you leave that gap between the 2 tag pages. So when the card is open, you're actually going to see a gap, a little bit of the hinge in between the 2 pages. The next step is to make the pop-up mechanism. So I'll need 2 pieces of cardstock for that as well. This is the die that cuts the pop-up mechanism, and you need 2 of them, but you can cut through 2 layers at one time. Now after die cutting, you just need to get rid of those little triangles and the holes in the tag and stuff, and just get that stuff punched out. So the idea with this piece is that one gets flipped around and then they come together in the center. First, I need to train the folds. I've got a score line here and here, and then a score line all the way across the piece that's between the square and the tag. And that's the one I'm going to work first. I'm going to fold it all the way across the piece and give it a pinch. Now the other score lines that are out there by the tag, those don't go through the tag, they just go on the outside of the tag. So that one here where my thumbnail is, I would want to work that one and work that one on the other side, but not actually fold the tag itself. Okay, I'm going to tuck that outer section back behind the tag again. Now I want to find the arms, and I want to reverse the fold that's right here, the little small fold. I want that to become a mountain instead of a valley. So it's a valley, I pop it up to be a mountain, and then I just give it a pinch. So then I'm left with this. I'm just going to hold the end of the tag while I fold the square over and on top of the tag. And then for the area behind the tag, that should then fold down flat as well. See that? You can see it on both sides. It opens like this. And then the only fold left is the one on the tab itself, and that will be a mountain fold. That'll actually fold to the back. What's nice about this card is you just have to do it again. Nothing new to learn, just a repeat of what we did before. The first fold that I'll find is the one between the square and the tag, and I'm going to fold all the way across the piece on that line. Then I want to find the ones that are kind of next to the tag. I don't want to fold the tag itself, I just want to fold the outer piece, work those folds, and then put it back behind the tag again. Remember, I got to tuck it behind the tag for this next part. Okay, I want to reverse the folds that are in the arm, so I got to pop those forward, making basically a little mountain out of them, and give those a pinch. Okay, then I'm going to do that on the other side. I'm going to pop that forward. That's going to become a mountain. Down here's a valley. Okay, now I just need to collapse the whole thing down. Just like that. So really super simple. It's going to open like this. Work that little fold on the tab. Okay, so identical folding. I'm just going to flip it around the other way. But as far as folding it, the same. Time to glue the pop-up pieces inside the tag book. I'm going to use my glue on the outer panel only. So just that outer panel up to the fold line. Placement is super simple with this die set because the outer corners of the pop-up piece, those rounded corners, line up perfectly with the rounded corners of the tag. So you don't have to worry about placement, you just have to line it up, no measuring, just line it up and it's perfectly placed. And we're going to flip that around and do the same thing with the other piece. So the glue goes on that outer panel. You start at the fold line, make sure you got a lot of glue on there. This thing's going to be opened and closed a bunch of times. Placement's easy. You're just going to take the rounded corners and line them up. Now you may choose to decorate these pieces before you do this folding and assembling. It's easy enough to decorate them afterwards, but you could always choose to decorate them first. But for our card today, I'm just going to continue on with the assembly, which is to add glue to the two little center tabs and then go in there and get them attached to the square on the other side. And that's all there is to finish the pop-up assembly. As soon as you have those things attached to each other, the card will start popping down and popping up, just like this. The first piece of decorating I'll do is with this die, which cuts the decorator pieces for the arms of the pop-up. And that's both decorative and structural. It's pretty easy to accidentally get an extra fold in that long arm right there where the cutout is. And by adding these pieces of cardstock, it not only decorates it, but it also stiffens up those arms, just makes it operate a little bit smoother. And it is not a problem to cut through 2 layers with this die as well. So since you need 2 sets, might as well cut them at one time. When I go to add these decorator pieces to the pop-up, I would want to add the glue to the pop-up itself and then stick the decorator piece to that exposed glue. That's so I can avoid those cutouts on the long arms. So since the decorator piece is just a little bit smaller than the pop-up arm area, just make sure the glue doesn't go all the way out to the edges, but they're just a smidge smaller. So they're mostly going to cover up those arms and just leave a small little border around the outside. And then it's just a matter of repeating that process to get the other decorator pieces on. There is a little bit of a shape to the decorator pieces. They're slightly tapered, but that will become really evident when you go to place them on the pop-up. They're really only going to fit one particular way. So as we all know as crafters, dies are an investment. So what I like to do as a die designer is to give you lots of pieces in every one of my pop-up die sets so that you can use those pieces not only to make a great card using just that set, if that's all you've got, that's all you need, but also so that you can pull those dies out of that set and use them on other projects. So you're going to find in the tag book lots of good generic pieces that are going to be usable beyond just this tag book project, on all of your other cards and projects. So to decorate my pop-up panels, I've done the smaller tag with a hole protector and the beaded rectangle. And when I go to add this to the pop-up, I'm going to line up the hole on the tag. That's going to leave me that little shadow all the way around my decorator piece. But I also want to make sure that I'm pressing against my hand and that I'm not actually pressing down onto the pop-up, which could, damage it. You can always give things a good press in the closed position. So one thing I always like to tell my students when I'm teaching is when you're decorating a pop-up that's already popped up, in other words, you're not able to lay it flat anymore, then you always want to press against your hand. So see, I'm putting my hand behind there, putting my decorator piece on and making sure that I'm pressing against my hand instead of pressing against that pop-up, which could rip it. Then when I close it, of course, I'm able to give it a really good press. A couple other decorator pieces in the set are a larger hole protector that fits nicely on the big tags, as well as this beaded line, and that's the width of the tag. So really nice to use out on the outside edges or the front of the card when you want to, go the full width of the tag with a little beaded strip. Just lots of optional decorating pieces in this set, like these paper clips and banners. There's a rectangle and a square. and those are sized to fit nicely in the pieces that came out of the inside of the beaded rectangle and square so that you get a postage stamp kind of look. You can string those cute little banners onto some twine. They have a little stitched detail on them, and you can also put the end of the paper clip through the hole of the banner, and that can help you hang them as well. So lots of different combinations on the banners. One thing that I think looks nice is to add some twine or ribbon to the holes of the tags. So I've tied some twine through my pop-up tags and then put some ribbon and twine on the big tags. The finished tag book measures 3 inches by 6 inches when folded. It will fit nicely in an A7 envelope if you'd like to mail it. You do have to watch the thickness of your embellishments and things. If you're trying to mail it for a single stamp, you'll have to be really frugal in what you put on it. Otherwise, just go for the extra ounce stamp and then you'll be able to mail it no problem. It's such a great display piece as well. It just sits nicely on the table. And of course it has all those pieces, so you can do a pretty simple card front like this, or just still staying within the die pieces, you could do even a little bit more elaborate one using some of those other decorator pieces. This would make a great little mini album where you could put photos on all of the pop-up parts. And let me just demonstrate that by magneting my 2 tag books together here to show you how it might look if you were to continue adding hinges and big tags and pop-up parts and just continue on to make a mini album. What that would look like is you would open it up and you'd have a pop-up spread here, and then you could open the next page, you'd have a pop-up spread, and so on and so forth. So really fun combinations with this die set. You can certainly mix in some of the other dies. For this one, I used word set 4, just a note. That's where it says popping up to say. And then I also used the new flowers and bee and just decorated up this tag book. This is actually the one that's on the packaging of the die itself. You can see all those details. One thing I like to do is to add the heart from the tag book on top of the paper clip and make a little heart clip. So that's another fun look that you can try. And you know, once you have a design that you like, it's so easy then to just make a similar, almost identical card, just change out the colors a little bit. So here's the same card essentially done in teal and orange, same dies, hung the banners over here for this card. On this card I hung them over on the right. So really similar styling, maybe just changing up a few things, and it looks like a completely different card, but really I just kind of copied myself. I am blessed to have a very talented design team, so let me show you just a few cards from them. I love this festive holiday tag book by Frances Byrne. She used some owl stamps and then some really pretty pattern papers. For this Hanukkah themed tag book, Karen Aiken turned to her stamps and embossed them in silver on navy cardstock. This is a great project by Fran Sabad for showing how all of the dies kind of mix and match together. This uses primarily the winter charms, but I also spy a few decorator pieces from some of the other sets. Kelly Booth made this really striking, just popping up to say hello friend card, and she used the dog from the new Cat and Dog die set as well. And then Fran Sabad had a clever idea. She decorated the tag as a vertical happy birthday card that you then open from the top, and it creates that vertical pop-up. And that is how you assemble die number 1023, the tag book pop-up. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBurniston.com, where you can find out information about purchasing these dies, as well as links to all my other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.